Welcome to My Daily Thread. It's a great little place to get a snippet of wisdom from the yoga and the meditation masters to start or to end your day. I'm Jeff Lichty. All right, friends, we've hit the end of the week already. It is difficult for me to keep up with this sometimes. Wow, I love this practice that we're doing with the My Daily Thread, looking for snippets of wisdom from Patanjali. And we have been working on chapter 2 of the Patanjali Yoga Sūtras. Yesterday we took on verse 22, which says, kṛtārthaṁ prati naṣṭam anaṣṭaṁ anya sādhāraṇatvāt. And remember, this all the Sanskrit. I just like to say it because we chanted it, and that's the way my mind sort of works around these Yoga Sutras. But what Patanjali is saying, it's like to someone who has seen the end result achieve some kind of liberation. There's no need for prakṛti. There's no need for that material stuff on the outside, right? You've figured it out on the inside. Then we also said that it's like a movie. Someone who's finished the movie has no need to see the movie anymore. We talked about Satchidananda and the factory. The production has been done and the goods have been made, now are sent out into the world to the consumer to fulfill their purpose. Then they don't need to be in the factory anymore. The goods don't remain in the factory. That is the same with the seer and the seen, with the purusha and the prakṛti. Once we've really fully understood, we don't need to stay in this realm. All right, speaking of realms, the San Pancho, February 2026 realm is calling your name. We are welcoming you to the kingdom, and I'll tell you what, it is going to be great. Book your spot early. However, it does give us pause to stay connected in kindness and humility with people that haven't had those experiences yet. As long as we're upright and vertical, as long as we're breathing, we still have an opportunity to teach, to serve, and to speak in ways that meet people where they are. And I think I told you that Pete and I were talking about a buddy who still has some blind spots, even though it has been practicing for quite a while. But again, I like the practicality, and I really am a pragmatic guy, so I want to know what are some of the things that we need to concentrate on with 22. The first thing is we have to practice letting go, and letting go of objects, of things, of experiences, without bitterness, without hanging on. When something has served its purpose, it's finished. The job, the relationship, the belief, whatever, and let it go, but let it go with a grateful heart. It was there to serve us. It served us in our journey. It appeared for a short time, maybe a long time, in order to help support our ultimate growth. I think we talked about this in the relationship section. Blaming doesn't help. Complaining doesn't help. All it does is draw us down into negativity. Also, in light of what Pete and I were talking about, everyone has a blind spot. We have to respect others and their journey. They are on their journey. They are on their path. And this sutra can help us be reminded that we need to cultivate empathy instead of impatience. Man, I tell you what, I've got lots and lots of impatience. We can just break down this one little piece. Where am I impatient? Whether it's in my listening, am I impatient in my conversations? Am I impatient in my teaching? Sometimes I'm totally impatient when I'm teaching. And am I impatient when I'm waiting for an outcome for something that I want? Moving on, I think this sutra really reminds us to try our best to avoid spiritual arrogance. Man, I'll tell you what, I got my fill of that growing up in the church. I don't think much more needs to be said about that. I'll just leave that be. But the people that have had the deepest spiritual experiences that I've ever met, people like Mother Teresa, meeting her, just being around her radiance was absolutely inexplicable. It was transcendent in many ways. And she was the humblest woman ever. And she just served, and she did it with detachment. I never sensed any superiority. I think out of this and out of the church thing, we can start to think we use our experiences to teach, but watch when you're starting to preach. Try to teach, try not to preach. I mean, we can translate our insights into languages and into tools that people can relate to. But watch that arising of our ego, that superiority. as mentioned before, I think we need to try to detach ourselves from rushing to the end goal. It reminds us that things will drop away. The sutra says it'll drop away when it drops away. There's a role for our growth. We need to be patient with ourselves and others and allow the timing of the universe, the evolution of our inner self, to come very naturally, very organically. And finally, as we move forward, we want to try our best to continue to live with awareness and compassion, cultivating our own freedom, but stay lovingly engaged with all of those that are around us and in our relationships. And, I think that's loads again for today. Man, I am going over these days, so I apologize. If you're looking for 5 minutes, this turned into the 6-minute show lately. But all of this to say, I really appreciate you spending time with me. Let's do it all again next week. Have a great weekend. Om. Peace out. And today's post-show notes, very important. Have a super fun weekend, and don't let the yoga get you down. Peace out.